Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. Thanks so much for spending a few minutes with me. Be sure and subscribe. Be sure and ring that little bell, the one that looks like that. It's actually down below, and that will notify you every time I upload a new movie review. Plus, when you get a minute, be sure and join our Facebook group called Movie Review Mom. And our website is moviereviewmom.com, where you'll see lots of other fun stuff. All right, on to today's movie review. The movie I'm reviewing is Spies in Disguise. This movie is rated PG. It's 1 hour and 42 minutes. And the movie review mom grade that I'm giving it is an A+. This is actually a pretty cute movie. Cute being the key word there. All right, I'm going to give you kind of a quick nutshell overview, some tips for parents, some themes that you can talk about with your family or friends, and then I'll address some things I liked and some things I didn't like. All right, so first, in a quick nutshell, this cute and colorful animation is loosely based on the Lucas Martel animated short in 2009 called Pigeon Impossible. Cute name. This is actually the very first animated film produced by 20th Century Fox to hit theaters since the Disney purchase. Now, everybody's comparing this movie to The Incredibles because it's a sky caper kind of a deal. And now, I guess, rather than being competitors, you could say that they're cousins, since this Fox movie is now owned by Disney, and Incredibles was Disney. Anyway, they're both cute, although I love Incredibles. Anyway, the animation, humor, action, and all the feels add up to a really fun time in the theater for all ages. Early rumors were that this movie was going to be terrible, so my expectations honestly were pretty low, but I'm happy to announce that the good news is that it really is funny and entertaining. I think you're really going to like this. Now, some quick tips for parents are, first, there's some Japanese spoken with subtitles, so young children will be able to read what it says. Nothing super critical to the plot necessarily. Lots of potty humor because of the target audience. It is a kids movie. Lots of cartoon violence. However, one of the characters actually advocates for non-violence, which is kind of nice. I mean, there's still plenty of destruction and action sequences and violence of various types, but it's nice that at least there's mention of nonviolence as an option to solve problems. You'll learn a lot of pigeon facts. And twice you see naked men with tattoos, but their private parts are blocked by various objects. However, you do see one of the man's rear ends. Not pleasant. And I don't know why they had to show that. There's a reference to Scooby-Doo as well as to 50 Shades of Grey that young kids probably won't understand. But that last one seems especially inappropriate in a kids movie, right? And in fact, some of the humor in this movie is very adult, which makes you wonder if Blue Sky was unsure of its target audience, or they were trying to satisfy both the Rugrats and the grandparents who might be taking them to the theater. I don't know. So sometimes you can entertain the parents without having to dip into adult humor. So I thought that it was kind of an odd choice and an unfortunate choice. There's an implied death, and as I mentioned, lots of destruction. All right. As to themes to talk about with your friends and family that you see the movie with, one, as I mentioned, is that violence is not always needed, teamwork. And in this day and age, we really admire people who can make it on their own. And yet a lot of movies, especially animations for children, seem to have a theme of teamwork. And I think that that's important because even if you are a solo entrepreneur, you still have to get along with other people, and there is some teamwork involved. So I think it's a good lesson to be learned. And of course, the lesson of friendship. Good versus evil is another theme, and being weird is good. And that's kind of a common theme, I think, in recent animations, just because people always feel like they're an outsider or that they don't belong. I mean, all of the Avengers movies are about people who have unusual gifts and feel like outsiders, that they don't belong as well. So it's also another good timeless lesson, a reminder that to being your own self is the best way to be. And then Walter, who is this weird scientist geek techno guy, he says you can do more by bringing people together than pulling them apart. And by the way, on my website, moviereviewmom.com, that's where I post all kinds of funny lines and interesting lines, because I try to keep these YouTube movie reviews more short. But if you want to read some of those, some of the lines were really great, then be sure and check out my website. All right. Now, for the things that I really liked are, first of all, who doesn't love spy gadgets? Kids especially think they're super cool. And they're very creative and inventive in this movie. Also, who doesn't love Will Smith? In 2007, I know that was a little while ago, Newsweek called Will Smith the most powerful actor in Hollywood. Now, he's been in some box office bombs lately, but he is in full form in this movie. Well, maybe not full form, since he's a pigeon for half of the movie. Some critics worried that his comedic charm wouldn't quite translate as well when he's a pigeon. But again, I'm happy to announce that it actually really works. It's adorable. Tom Holland is also one of those people that everybody loves, and he is perfect to voice this character in contrast to Will Smith's cool, debonair spy. Like I said, Tom Holland is kind of this geeky techno wizard. And so the two of them turn out to be a really great pairing, and the contrast is really fun. There are cute spy gags throughout the entire movie, and they don't get tiresome. There are lots of pigeon gags throughout the movie, and surprisingly, they don't get tiresome either, which was kind of surprising. I just said that. I thought it was really clever to have DJ Khalid voice a character named Ears. Now, he's not an actor, but as far as I know, this is the second movie. He was in one of the third Pitch Perfect movie, and he was fine in that, and everybody was falling all over themselves. And I think people are going to get a kick out of hearing him in this movie as he voices this particular character. And then I also love Karen Gillan, whether she's an avatar in Jumanji, the first one, or the most recent movie that came out, or a robot girl in Guardians of the Galaxy. Love that franchise. Or a character in this movie called Eyes. And so she's paired with Khalid, or DJ Khalid. And anyway, they had a nice contrast as well and worked well together too. The marvelous Rachel Brosnahan, from her award-winning The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, voices the character Wendy. Now, it's a small part, but I love that she's being included in voice work. She's so talented. And that first season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel was very good, won awards. But this second season, I thought was brilliant. Anyway, you should check that out too. Not really necessarily appropriate for kids because there's some language and some situations, but so well done, deserving of the awards that it gets. I mentioned there are pigeon gags and spy gags, and there are a lot of visual gags with the animation that are really cute. There is just a lot of different kinds of humor for all ages in this movie, and I mentioned that can also be problematic because of some of the more adult humor, but I loved the variety of the visual, the verbal, all of that kind of stuff. So here's a question for you. Why haven't we had multi-award winning Reba McEntire's voice in animated movies before? She's so cute and adorable. And by the way, did you know that she is the #2 all-time best-selling female musical artist? I didn't know that. So who's #1? Well, Barbara Streisand, of course. Reba said that to succeed in life, you need 3 things. 1, a wishbone. 2, a backbone. And 3, a funny bone. So I love that she's in this movie. It's a cute character. I'm using the word cute a lot because the movie is just kind of cute. Anyway, I love that she's in this movie. There are lots of really funny slow motion sequences, lots of great locations around the world, and lots of fun surprises. So I don't want to give you any spoilers. Now, a few things that I didn't like are the first of all, the villain is kind of forgettable, although Ben Mendelsohn's voice was great. He's not super scary, so that's good for young ones. The plot is predictable, but of course, young ones won't see it coming necessarily if they haven't been around long. There's tons of unrealistic action and scenarios, and I guess that kind of describes a lot of cartoons, really. But some people are like, "Oh, that's just too over the top," But it's a cartoon, so I was fine with that. Another thing that I thought was interesting is I was watching some reviewers in Australia, and they said that one of the things they didn't like is that all of the Americans are good guys and all of the bad guys are not American. And I don't know that I would have even thought of that necessarily because I'm American, but I thought that that was an interesting aspect of the movie. Some of the humor, by the way, is pretty gross as well, and there are sometimes you cross the line on humor going a little too far. All right, so again, look on my website and you can see some of the funny lines, some of the interesting lines. Be sure and subscribe. I'm scrolling through all of these lines. And then just some movies that I wanted to recommend are, first of all, The Incredibles. So awesome. Better than this movie, in my opinion, but I just love those. And this one is good, though. But it kind of had the same feel and then the same look as Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, just kind of the way the animation is drawn. I like all of those movies, and I think that you'll enjoy this one as well. Have a great time at the movies. Bye for now.